And of course, too, you can take your computer or your mobile device over to supertalktv.com where you can watch good things as well. And you might as well take your browser over there because you're going to see some beautiful photos that was given to us by our guest today, Ms. Valerie Cox. She is of Olive Branch, Mississippi, and she was chosen to help decorate the White House for Christmas. Pretty cool. Hey, Valerie.
Hi, Rebecca.
I am so excited to get to talk to you, which I know you're excited to now get to talk about it, because how long ago did you go to help decorate?
I went the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and we started the decorating process on the Monday before Thanksgiving.
So that's pretty cool. So even the White House kind of gets in on it a little bit early, but in fairness, they probably have a lot of decorations to put up, and it stays around for a really long time. So how did this opportunity come to you, Valerie? How did you find yourself there in Washington bringing Mississippi decorations to Washington?
I had actually attended a wedding with my parents, and my mom and I met the venue owner who had been a decorator in the past, and he was telling me about it, and it sounded like such a neat opportunity to get to see the White House, in a very up-close position. And I love the history of Washington, the country of America, Christmas, volunteering. So it's just a great way to get to combine all of my passions. I applied in October. I had written several letters and sent a few emails throughout the year, and so I'm not exactly sure which one did the trick. It was the application or the letters, but I found out the first week in November that I had been selected to be a White House volunteer.
Wow, they don't give you very much time to sort of get your ducks in a row to be able to make the trip, but such is life. So I'm sure that was an exciting moment.
Yes, it was very surreal. We ended up going to Chick-fil-A to get milkshakes to celebrate that night. It was a very fun experience.
Oh, I love that. Okay, how many people in total get to volunteer? How many from all over the U.S. get to come to Washington to help transform the White House?
There were 150 volunteers total, and there was at least one from every state.
Were you the only one from Mississippi, Valerie?
That I know of, I was the only one. I did meet another girl from Tennessee, and I met two from Alabama. I met another lady who grew up in Mississippi but had since moved to Virginia, where she lives now. So that was fun to get to meet her, and we had, several connections and, different experiences growing up. So that was fun to reminisce with her about Mississippi.
Of course, you'll probably have you're probably somehow related, distant cousins or something. What area of Mississippi did she live in?
She was from the Gulf Coast.
Okay, well, we pretty much have the two, polars of Mississippi represented, the Gulf Coast, and then you from Olive Branch. I think that's pretty cool. Next year, someone centrally needs to go with you, although it feels like the same people don't necessarily get asked back. So once you got there, walk us through it, Valerie. What was it like? Were you given certain directions on which room or trees, or kind of how did they have it organized?
Yes, it was a very organized process. We spent the first 2 days at an off-site facility doing a lot of the crafts. We were divided into teams beforehand. We did not choose our teams, but I do think I'm a little partial, but I think I had the best team. And each team was responsible for a set of rooms. Our team was on the ground floor, and we did the diplomatic reception room, the library, the Vermeer room, and the China room. So at the offsite facility, we started a lot of the crafts that would have been a little too messy to do in the historic home, and kind of pulling things that we were reusing from years past. I did not know that, but they actually are able to use a lot of the ribbons and ornaments and things like that from year to year. And so it was really cool to get to see, that we were able to use Christmas decorations that, past First Ladies had chosen, and the things that we were making this year, might be selected in the future by First Ladies for their White House vision. So I thought that was a really cool process and something that I had not thought about before. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving was our first official day in the White House, and we unpacked, I believe it was 5 moving trucks filled with boxes and all of our decor items. So we unpacked those and set those up in the rooms that they would be going in. And then we started the decorating process. We did not do anything on Thanksgiving. decorating wise. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were our kind of, really busy, Santa's workshop days where everything came together, the vision came to life. And so it was just amazing to get to, transform the people's house with, American people from literally all over the country.
So, Valerie, you actually got to spend Thanksgiving then in Washington. Did they give you guys Thanksgiving dinner? Were you able to sort of enjoy the city that day? That's a unique Thanksgiving experience.
It was. I had actually never been to D.C. before, and so I spent the day sightseeing. Any chance I got, I walked down to the National Mall. I went over to Washington National Cathedral, spent some time driving through Georgetown. So I tried to soak up as much in as I could. I started out at Arlington National Cemetery, came across and did the Lincoln Memorial, and I found my dad's cousin's name on the Vietnam Wall. I went to the Air and Space Museum, went to the American History Museum, and I ended up eating dinner at Old Ebbitt Grill.
You burn more calories on Thanksgiving than most Mississippians, Valerie.
Yes, I think it was about 12 miles in all.
But it sounds like you made the most of your experience there. Now, you mentioned the First Lady, and usually the First Lady is the one who gets to choose the theme for Christmas decorations. That's even the same at the Governor's Mansion. First Lady Ellie Reeves this year really focused in on individual cities here in Mississippi and communities for ornaments to be represented. So what was sort of the theme there at the White House this year?
The theme this year was We the People, and it was about how, the American country is made up of people from, all over the world that have come to America. And, we all are united in ways that we don't even realize. And so each room had like a unique element to that theme. Like one of the rooms that I was helping in was the China room, and it was about the family traditions and recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation. And so one of the fun elements of that room is all of the volunteers were able to bring in at least one family recipe, and we made those into garlands, and we're able to display those on the mantelpiece and on the 3 different trees in that room. So it was just a fun element that, we all got to be involved in. And my team was responsible for creating the garland. And it was fun to look through the recipes because you could see that the different recipes were reflective of the geographical area where the volunteer was from, because we also put our state on the recipe card. But so many of the recipes were, so similar. I did my grandmother's apple cranberry crunch. And, there were several other, apple cranberry recipes. So it was just a fun way to get to see that, we all are united, even in just the food we eat. We're more alike than we are different no matter what part of America you live in.
I agree with that. And then you also got to bring a little Mississippi into the decorations. We're watching at SuperTalk.tv.com, and Rhino's got the beautiful photos that you shared with us. And you can tell that Mississippi's incorporated at least into one tree or two. So how did that come about?
Yes, in the Blue Room, it was about unity and hope. And so each of the United States and the territories have their bird displayed on there. And so it was fun to get to find Mississippi's on there. I actually did have to look it up what it was. But it was able to get the fun. It was fun to be able to find that on the tree and see that. And then in the grand foyer, each state was on a little flag, and it had the year that we joined the country. And so it was fun to get to see Mississippi. And there was one night that we got to stay late, and I ended up helping that team out because my team was finished for the day. And so we used a heat gun, and were able to give a little shape and dimension to the states. And the last state that I got to do that night was Mississippi. So I thought it was very fitting for that.
Well, it sounds like you had a wonderful time. You represented us well. The photos are gorgeous. How long will they leave these decorations up?
I know it's after Christmas. I believe it's December 27th.
Pretty
It might
cool.
be a little later than that.
Well, what a fun experience, Valerie. I'd really appreciate your time here on Good Things. Did you have a favorite room?
I loved the China room.
Well, you spent a lot of time there.
Yes, it was a gingerbread house, and that's actually the White House ornament this year. It's a gingerbread house. Pat Nixon started that tradition, so it was just a fun room to get to be a part of.
Well, it's fun to hear the behind the scenes. I really do appreciate your time, Valerie, and the photos. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well, Rebecca.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.